water comes from? I have two options for you here. The Red River or the Cheyenne River?
Red River.
Only?
Yes. Cheyenne River and Red River.
Okay, how many say Cheyenne? One, two, no, I say Cheyenne. I'm with you, don't be too. Cheyenne. How many say Red River? Woohoo! We get, and Cargo, we get the water from both the Red River and Cheyenne. Sweet. All right. So we have some fresh Red River water for you. So do I have a volunteer who would like to drink some of the Red River water? Do you like to volunteer to drink? Do you think you want to drink this water?
Yeah, he's basic.
Really? You think you can drink this water? No.
Yeah,
No. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, we raise hands, okay? So we get to listen to everybody. Yes, sir. No, okay, yes. It has been purified. Yes. Exactly. What kind of sick do you think I'm going to get if I drink this crappy water? Yes. Yes. What else? Going to the bathrooms? You know what's diarrhea? Yeah. Oh, geez, stinky. We're not talking about that. Okay, so my name is Ruchi. He is Mark. We have another Mark, and he's the one who works at the Fargo treatment plant. And me and Mark, we work at the Moorhead water treatment plant. And we work hard, all of us, to make sure this dirty water becomes clean like this. How many of you guys think you can drink this? Down. We don't have enough that I won't walk in. Okay, all right, so we're going to talk about how do we do that. So you see the first step here, I have up here, it says aeration. What do you think? Does anybody know what it means? It starts with an A. It has the meaning in it, the first half of it. We add dash to the water. Starts with an A, yes. What do we add? Air. We add air. So when we have this really dirty water from the river, we add air, pressurized air to it. How many of you guys have aquariums at home? Do you have a bubbler in it? Do you see bubble coming out? That's exactly what aeration is. We add air into the water so that this stinky water, it has those dirty gases in it and particles. So when you add water to it, it pushes all the dirty gas out of the water, making it smell much better. So that the fish in your aquariums can live in a nice, clean environment without any farts or dirt. Yes, it's going to be in a nice, clean environment. So after the water is aerated, now the other thing that happens with aeration, everybody here. Okay, what happens is we have this big fat particles also in the water. How do we get rid of them? Does anybody know? No, that comes later. You know, with aeration, the oxygen, when we add air to the water, it breaks these big fat particles into these tiny little molecules, which is shown right here. But these tiny little particles have to be removed too, because the water still looks muggy, just like this, right? So you don't want that. Can you drink that? No, right? So what we want to do is we want to collect all these particles and make them in a group and remove them. And how do we do that is we use this thing. It's called alum. It's a coagulant. You don't have to remember that word. It's not the best word that I like, but this is what you add. You can find this alum in your mother's kitchen because she adds it to the pickles if she makes them. So there's nothing to be scared of that. When we add alum, it makes all the particles really fat and sticky. So what happens is when they're all fat and sticky, they all get together, become a group. And what do you think? Are they going to settle down? Are they going to float? Or are they going to swim? Swim. How many say swim? How many say float? How many say settle down? Woo! Yes, settle down. Do you see how these particles have all settled down? This is what happens. So, okay, let's see it this way. If you have too much of pizza, if you can have 5 pizzas, but if I give you 10 pizzas, what do you think is going to happen? but do you just want to sit back? If you eat a lot of food, do you want to go for running or do you just want to sit back on the couch, watch TV? Right? Yeah, that's what I want to do, you know, and that's what happens here. Right now, all these particles, they're sitting on the couch, relaxing, and they're all here. What I can do is, I'm going to take this out from here and throw them out. Now, if I ask you, do you guys think you can drink this part of the water? Yes? No? How many say yes? How many say no? Why no? Okay. Yes, sir, you. Tell me why not. It doesn't look nice. What do you think it has in it? Something is there. Germ, chemical. See, we took a lot of out here, but there is still some of it, right? It has bugs in it. The kind of bugs that you can't see right now. But do you guys know what's a microscope? Have you heard of it? What does it do? Tell me. Who knows what a microscope is? Yes?
Maybe it helps you with things really good. Microscope, it can see things that you can't.
Right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Things like stuff that are like microscopic.
Right? Yes. You do? Sweet. We should have borrowed one from you so that everyone can just see what microscope is. Well, I must tell you that this water that you see here has 1,000 of bugs in it right now. But can you see? No, but they're really big fat bugs. But we need a microscope to see them. So that's the reason why I'm not going to give this water to you to drink. So we have to get rid of the bugs in it, right? At the water treatment plant, we use something called ozone. Okay? How many of you breathe oxygen? How many of you breathe in nitrogen? Yeah, it's a mixture, so it does get it. Oxygen. How many of you know how many atoms do we have in an oxygen molecule? Oxygen is what you breathe in. Okay. So we have oxygen, O2. So how many atoms do you think we have? 2. So, does anybody know what ozone is? Okay, what is it? Have you ever smelled after there is a lightning? Do you think it smells kind of weird and funny? You know why? Because the oxygen molecule in the air is converted into ozone, and Mark's going to tell you how that process takes place.
Okay, so at both water treatment plants at Fargo and Moorhead, we use what's called ozonation to be our primary disinfectant that takes out all these bugs in our water, okay? So we have a great big metal cylinder on the inside that we basically simulate lightning strikes with, on a much smaller scale. Have you ever like rubbed your socks on the carpet and then shocked somebody with it? Have you guys ever done that? That kind of static electric shock that you can give people, it's a little zap. We basically do the same thing inside this great big generator. They're a little bit more powerful. But what that does, that little static electric shock takes an O2 molecule. After we've purified it, we've taken out all the carbon dioxide, we've taken out the nitrogen, all the other stuff in the air we breathe. We take those out so we just have pure oxygen, right? And then we shock them, we break them apart. So instead of having O2, they're by themselves, right? So, some of that happens to some of these molecules, and other ones stay as O2, okay? So as some are floating around as O2, some of them are floating around as O1, this guy doesn't like to be by himself, okay? So what he does is he finds these O2 molecules and he latches on it, he makes O3, and that is ozone. That's that same musty smell you smell after a lightning strike, okay? And this is what we use to take out all those germs in the water, okay? So this guy, he likes to wrap himself around the germs, and he does a great job at destroying them, okay? It's a great chemical process to watch. And after these things rip apart all those germs, it's much safer for us to drink. That's why it's our primary disinfectant, okay? Now afterwards, after our ozonation process, we still have this water, okay? There's still a little bit of sediment in the top that needs to be filtered out, right? And that's what you guys get to do here on our stations. Is after our theoretical ozonation process, we get to do the filtering, right? Because that takes out all those germies that we destroyed, we have to get those out, right? So the next phase is to do our filtering. And after the filtering, we add a little bit of chlorine to the water to make sure those germs can't come back in, right? So it's safe to drink when you turn on your tap to take a drink or do your cooking or take a bath or a shower, we want that water to stay clean, right? So I would have Ruchi tell us a little bit more about how it gets there.
So, we have killed all the germs, right? All the bacteria with the ozone. Now, all the dead stuff is still in the water. That's what you get to filter through these filters here, okay? Now, all the dead bugs are in the filters, so this water is really clean. But, do you think you can still drink this water? No, right? Although, it's really, you can drink it, but I won't ask you to drink it. You know why? How many of you go for swimming? What do you smell then? Chlorine, right? So, do you smell the same thing at home too? Why not? Chlorine kills the bacteria. Yes. How many of you live close by to the treatment plant? Yeah, I don't. Why am I raising my hand? I don't. Nobody? I live super far away from the treatment plant. How do you think the water from the treatment plant gets to the homes which are like so far away? Yes. The pipes, right? Do you think those pipes are like small and thin? No. They're big? Yes. They're super big. They're really long because they have to transfer this clean water to your houses, right? But by the end of the day, when the water gets filtered, we add just a little bit of chlorine gas to the water so that to make sure that the water that we clean in the treatment plant is all the way clean by the time it reaches your house. When you turn the tap on, the water should be clean and nice. So, when the water reaches your home, it still has just a little bit of chlorine, but it's not stinky at all, right? Do you smell it? Do you smell chlorine? No, right? This is the kind of water that you get. And today, you guys are going to make this clean water right now, right here. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Are we ready to rock and roll? Yeah. How many guys are we here? There's 18. 18? So we want to form groups of 2? Can we do that?
Then you guys will form up over here, and then I'll give you your
make
river
your
water.
groups. Form a line.
I'll give you
The dirty water.
dirty river water, and then you'll find a filter, and then we'll wait for the next step, okay? There you are. Okay. There you go.
You need the dirty water first, right?
Okay.
Well, you can probably put your journals on the floor over here. Yeah, keep your journals on the floor.
Oh, no. There you go. Here's yours. Are you rolling away?
Okay. All right. Once you have your dirty water, find your filtration cup and stand with it. By the time everyone gets their water. Some dirty water.
Okay, you can find yourself a filter, and then we'll do our filtration step, okay?
Okay, you can stand here.
You guys have sugar here?
Sand.
Okay, here's your water.
Okay, does everyone have water now?
The next step in the
You guys
process,
can stand here.
the next step in the process that we have here is to make sure that this water separates a little bit before we put it through the filter, okay? So remember we talked about coagulation? We add a little bit of our alum, stuff that we put in our homemade pickles, and you give it just a little baby splash in here, and that helps all those particulate matter
You want to add just 1 pinch
get
of
all
alum.
big and sticky and heavy, and they start to separate, okay?
1 pinch.
Did you get some? Okay, sounds good. So now what we do is we wait a little bit, and you can see how those particles begin to separate, right? The longer we wait, the further down that sludge sinks, and the more water we have to pour over our filters, okay?
And then, because all the dirt is in there, and then you
Kind of see, if you look really, really close, we can see how the water's starting to separate there. You can see all that heavy muck is kind of falling down the bottom, right?
I see a little bit of
So after you think you have enough water, you can dump it over the filters. You can be very, very careful not to get the sludge onto the sand. You can pour some on there, and you'll see how clear it gets by the time it gets through the sand, okay? And that's the same process that we use at our water treatment plants to get all of that dirt out of the water, okay? Yep, I think you'll have enough there. You gotta be very, very gentle so you don't stir it all up, okay?
do we have enough?
bad, lazy, you know.
Just about, yep. I think you guys have enough, or you can try it out. There you go. That one you might be able to get a little bit. Same with this one here too.
What do we do?
Very, very gently pour some of that cleared water over the top of your filter. See
Can you
there?
see how the water
And then as that water continues to separate, you can add more and more water onto your filters, okay?
is like
And you see how much clearer that water is that's coming out the bottom here? It's dripping, yep. It's going through all the little holes in between all those grits of the sand. And all the dirt particles are getting trapped in there while the water can sneak through. Okay? Yep, let's see how we do it here. How's it working? Working pretty good?
Okay.
Nice and clear?
Do you see the water, the dirty stuff settling down? Now, what
See
you
how
do
much
next
clearer it
is
is from that
you
stuff
want
that
to make
comes
sure
through?
you pour the clean
Just the
part
clear
onto
water
the
on the
filter.
top.
Very slowly
You
and
have a
nice.
lot you can add now.
Make sure none of the dirty part gets into the filter. So you gotta be nice and slow with this
Just be careful
process,
not to get
okay?
any of the sludge on.
Keep your filters on the desk, right? You can go ahead, you can get started. Right. Now you're gonna pick this up. Just make sure just the water gets in.
See how much more clear that water is compared to that nasty
Because if
stuff?
the dirty part gets in, it's gonna clog up your filters. And the water's not getting in. Do you see? Yeah,
find
the
that
water's
at the
getting
grocery
filtered. Do you wanna add some more?
Wait, I could maybe a little.
If you guys want, you can use this water too.
Now this one is actually a good one to look at. Because you see how the water is starting to really slow down and it's still on top of the filter? That means that this one is about ready to do what we would call at the water plant a wash, okay? So what we do when these things start having problems filtering is we take that nice clean water and we pump it backwards up through the filter to clean it.
Right? Makes sense? That's why you
Kind of
don't
weird,
want the
right?
dirty
But we
part
take
to
that
get on
clean
the
water, we pump it backwards
You
up
don't
and
want
it
your
gets all the
filter to look
dirt out.
something like
And then we
this.
recycle that so we don't waste it.
Okay?
So it's kind of cool, huh?
No water can get in, right?
See how
So
the
you
rest
don't
of them
want
are
any dirty
filtering
stuff.
pretty good. This one is really cool actually,
Right.
because you can see it start to kind of swirl and it's starting to load up on the top of the sand there. That's stopping the water from being able to go in between the sand chunks, right?
You're fine, that's okay. Yeah, because filtration is a slow process.
See how the top
But you
of the
see the
sand is
difference in the water that's coming out of the filter?
going through?
Is it different than the water that you had from the river? Which one's more clean?
The one that's being filtered.
Filtered, right. But do you think you can drink it?
No.
Why not?
More bacteria. There's some bacteria.
And then at the water
Right. We
treatment
want to make
plant,
sure
after we
there's
get
no bacteria,
finished
no dirty
product
stuff in your
here,
water.
this is
So what do
we
we
add
do
our
to
chlorine,
take
that
care of
little
that?
tiny bit of chlorine to before we ship it out to the plants.
We saw Mark talking about something. The three.
That means this filter,
It's called
if
what?
it was at our plant, would be ready
The
for
ozone! We ozonate the dirty water, okay? Once we add ozone,
If you look at the
there's
top of this one, you
no
can see all
bacteria
the
in the
sludge
water,
that's
there's
kind of
no
on top of
bugs,
the
no
sand.
dirty stuff.
That's
It
what
looks
the sand is
crystal
for.
like this.
That's what the filters are
But
for.
we
It's
are not
catching
doing
those
that
little
part
tiny
here
bits that
because
seep through.
ozone is a gas and chlorine is a gas. And we cannot carry gases with us, right? I can't carry the gas in a bag of chlorine. And it would smell like a swimming pool.
And then at our water
It
plant,
would
the
smell
filters
like
that we
a-
use
Do you
are
like the
much
smell of
bigger
it?
than these little tiny parts.
Yeah.
If we see where these pillars are
I
here at the
do,
edge
yeah.
of
Like,
the atrium area, our filters are from those pillars to the wall, and then from this wall to the other wall.
it
That's how
would be
big
so
one of our filters
stinky
are.
if we get the
We can
chlorine.
do a lot of water at one time.
Which one?
That's good.
No, it is. Do you see the water is still dripping? It might be a little blocked. All right. Now the water is getting filtered. I'll request you all to take your seats back and fill the jar.